Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and today I am using the Pebbles collection called the Avenue, and I'm also going to be using this month's sketch to create my layout, and I'm going to, of course, stretch it out into a double page layout. Now here are the papers and the embellishment pieces that I received. The embellishment kit this month includes these beautiful alpha thickers. I would encourage you to go check out Tina Gale's video on the ScrapRoom's YouTube channel to get all of the details for this particular flavor of the month kit. Now, I started out with this beautiful blue, almost purple floral paper, and I just love the way that floral, it's just big and beautiful. I don't know what it is. Normally, I'm not a floral person, but that piece was just gorgeous. And I'm going to follow the sketch pretty closely with that big piece of the floral, and I do go ahead and double it over so that I can have the right hand side and the left hand side match with that piece. I first thought about mirroring the sketch, so you can see here where I have the pieces over on the right hand side and it mirrors the left hand side, but I do end up changing that. Now, this particular black and white paper, again, a gorgeous paper, and I go ahead and cut that in a 3-inch circle, and I use my circle punch to do that. I also thought that I would use the polka dots, and I went ahead and cut it so that it would be an actual strip of polka dots. So I had to cut off little pieces before and after the polka dots to make them work, but I actually don't end up using those. I cut out the same black and white floral to go at the top to mimic the circle in the sketch at the top left hand side, and then I use my tag punch to add a tag to the top, again following the sketch. Now I do move it around a little bit because I didn't like the placement of it, and I think that because I made my papers a little bit bigger than what the sketch called for, and of course my photos are obviously a lot bigger than what the sketch calls for, I had to change it up a little bit. I used a 4x6 photo on the left hand side and then 2 3x4 photos, and these photos are of my friend. I actually took these photos. I did photography for a little bit, and while I love the photography, the other stuff, including editing and getting all of that stuff ready for clients, I didn't like that, so I kind of abandoned it. But every once in a while I do photograph some of my friends when they ask me to get some family photos. So by no means do I think I'm a professional in any sense, but I do love the way that these photos came out. I decided to take that black and white floral and pull in some of the colors from the floral piece that you see at the top. So I just colored in with my pink, like a lilac purple, green, and yellow. And even though they're different colors than the colors at the top, like they're both have pink, but they're a little off in different color pinks, I think that it works well with both pieces. I went ahead and added the banner pieces to the top and the bottom and adhered all of them down. And then that's when I decided that I didn't want to mirror it entirely because I wanted to add one big photo on the far right hand side of the layout. So I'm really just paper piecing these pieces together, making sure that everything is lining up, kind of following the sketch, kind of going on my own, just making it work for my photos. Now, this little tiny piece of pattern paper here is that blue piece. It actually is a piece that got cut off from when I was cutting out the polka dot piece, and the papers didn't line up exactly right, so I just went ahead and put that little tiny piece of that purple-ish blue paper, and I think that it really makes that floral paper pop. What I decided to do for the photo on the far right hand side, I really wanted it to stand out a lot, so I took a bunch of my scraps, and you can really see that when I flip the photo over. I like the look of it being different layers and they're not all the same, So there's some pieces that you'll see on the right side, but not the left side. But then I do like to have a solid border behind it. So I did go ahead and mount it on a white piece of paper so that it has one solid border behind it. I did also use some fun foam to pop that photo up, just simply because that is probably my favorite photo of them. When I did start scrapbooking this particular friend, she asked that her husband not be seen, but in that photo he is just kissing her very lightly on the cheek, and so I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful photo of the two of them. Once I get all of that down, then I start to work with the embellishment pieces that I got, and I really liked this black and white kind of flowery leaf paper, and I actually do end up coloring that in as well. I got this house piece, and I'm not sure what it is. It had some perforations on it so that you could fold it up, and it kind of looked like you could make it into a box. I don't know. I ended up cutting them down and just using them as accent pieces, and I love the gold accents that brings in. So I went ahead and added one to the far left-hand side of the layout, and then I added another one to the far right-hand side of the layout as my cluster foundation. This paper is a lot of like the blues and the greens, and then every once in a while you'll get this like corally pink color, and I love that little pop of color. That's usually not a pop of color that I tend to use in my layout, but I think that it works really well in this layout. Now for the title, I absolutely wanted to use the stickers that came in the embellishment kit, and so I kind of made a longer title. The title is We Are Just Better Together, and so I did pull out this word together from my collection and then used the we and better in the stickers that I received, and then just some black tile stickers again from my collection for the are and just. And I think that it works really well because there's little bits and pieces of black throughout this layout, and that title just really brings all of that black together. And I think that it is just a beautiful title. It fits perfectly right there in that big white space. I do have a little tiny space that I feel like I need to fill in right under the word we, so I do go ahead and cut out a heart with my heart punch in the black and white paper and color in just a few pieces there. I do scan across the bottom of that white piece of paper just to kind of get a full flower in there. I just wanted to make sure that the heart piece that I cut out worked well with the title. I also cut out a couple more hearts with my heart punch in the black and white gingham, as well as the teal blue color, and add that to the upper left-hand corner. Now in my kit, I did receive a strip of puffy gold hearts, and I think that they got buried in this mess of a scrap table that you can kind of see at the top there. So once I turned off the camera and started to clean up, I did find them, and so I did decide to go ahead and add those. So you will see those in the final close-ups. I also pulled out some enamel dots because I didn't realize that I had those hearts, and I just wanted to add a couple pieces there. So I do add to the clusters just a couple of the hearts in that lilac color, as well as that pink and the black. Again, those are from my stash. So here is my final layout, as well as some close-ups. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more inspiration for the Flavor of the Month kits, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.